Is the sound working now? Nice April Fool's prank. Yeah, I got you guys. Is the sounds working now? I hope. It looks like it's working now. Yes. Cool. Well, April Fools. I got all of you guys. Anyway, so I haven't really seen this yet. Nice April Fool's prank. Yeah, I got you guys. But so I drew this trend line a few days ago, like I said, and we actually just hit it last night. I wasn't really around trading last night, but you know, it could be possible that we found it's almost horizontal support, really. So I'm kind of bullish right now. I think that we're going to have a really nice bounce off of this trend line. As you guys can see, this was the other, like I said, Cred would call it a swing low. And we bounced off it. What is this? Let's see. That's the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. I had a bunch of mimosas today. I didn't even think I was going to stream today. But anyway, so last time we hit this trend line, I mean, the first time, obviously, we hit the trend line and we bounced 250%. And then the time after that, we hit this trend line and we bounced 94%. And then, let's see, if we bounce 100% from here, that would put us to about 12K. You know, I'm not saying this is for sure a move, but this is just, you know, I like to show people situations that no one else looks at, because right now everyone's really a bear. Like all the people that were perma bulls, they're all saying 3K now. You know, everyone's saying 3K now, and usually when the market mentality shifts to that, you know, the opposite happens. So in this case, you know, I'm going to pull up RSI too, actually. I don't usually trade with RSI, but I'm going to for today, because every time we hit this really oversold period, it kind of, you know, we have a decent bounce. Right here, it wasn't the greatest bounce, but we hit oversold right here when we hit the trend line the last time, and obviously we saw 100% increase. We hit oversold here, 100% increase, oversold here, probably like a 30 or 40% gain. So there's a lot of bears right now, but to be honest, I'm really bullish, because this is a line I haven't even looked at in a few days. I drew this trend line and I was like, I'm going to put in some buy orders right around 6,300. My buy orders didn't hit for Bitcoin last night, but you know, we can see a decent bounce. I'd like to see more volume out of it, but as far as I'm concerned, the next few days should be pretty bullish. It is still a bear market, but if we do have this really big bounce, it is a higher low. You know, we might see a trend reversal here. I'm not using I am using a log chart. A lot of people draw this trend line. You know, if we have the bounce that I think could happen, it would technically bring us out of this bearish trend. And that all kind of coincides with the middle of April. I think the middle of April is going to be a much better time than you know, we had in March. March was really bearish. I thought March would be a little bit more bullish than it was, but historically March and January have been two of the worst months. And so you know, if we do have this really significant bounce here, the RSI says that we're gonna have a bounce. We were pretty oversold. You can actually see some bullish divergence here, where the RSI is making a higher low and we are making a lower low. So there's a lot of really good things going on for Bitcoin right now. As far as the market goes, like I said, I think we're going to have a pretty strong bounce over the next week or two. And then I think mid-April, late April, we'll see a pretty nice altcoin rally. So that's my Bitcoin analysis for now. Let's get into Ethereum. What do you think of Moneta? Hope it bounces so I can cash in to buy in higher lows. You know, if you're a Bitcoin trader, then you shouldn't be worrying about cashing out, to be honest. Hold on, this Adam guy is talking shit. So let's, how do we ban him? Let's remove him. Let's report him. Unwanted hate speech. Sorry, Adam, you gotta go. Anyway, so ETH right here, I did personally buy some Ethereum at 400. I thought 400 would be really strong support. You know, as far as horizontal resistance goes, 400 should have been really strong support. We broke right through 400, and I think that we are going to hit the 340, 330 range. I do see some decent old resistance that should be support here. So my next buy in Ethereum will be right around $340. And like I said, I think the next 2 weeks we're going to see Bitcoin rally, maybe back up to 9K. And Ethereum versus USD might tank a little bit more. I think it's going to hit this next support, and then it should have a pretty significant bounce. I can definitely see Ethereum being in the 500 to 600 range by the end of April. And so as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum go, those are my two views right now. I think Bitcoin right now is extremely oversold. I am bullish on it. Like I said, everyone that was saying we're going to 3K, they kind of turned their mind around and said that we were going to go up to 50K. I was one of those people where I was like, we're going to 3K. Bitcoin's really bearish. And then about 2 weeks ago, I bought back in because I thought Bitcoin was reversing. But to be honest, all those people like me, they're all bearish now. And so once you see like the whole market being extremely bearish, that's kind of an indicator saying we're going to turn around. It's like the depression phase. And so the same thing on ETH right now. I don't see enough, I guess, like suffering or sadness about ETH yet, and that's why I think we're going to drop more to that 340 range. I think ETH at a $340 pickup is, it's almost a no-brainer to me. I'm gonna pick up a lot of Ethereum around 340 if we get back there. But so let's get into the rest of the market, because something interesting that's been going on is, Bitcoin's been really volatile, but alts have not been volatile. Luck's about to pop off. Lux probably is about to pop off. We'll start off with Lux because I've been holding my Lux for a long time. I was one of the first buyers of Lux. I have no reason to sell my Lux. I know that long term it's going to be a really good buy. So let's go to Lux. Do they have it on TradingView? I'm not sure, to be honest. No, TradingView doesn't have Cryptopia. I can go to Coinigy, though. Let's go to Coinigy. So Lux just put out a pretty bullish article. I think they had a wallet update as well. Oh. Put user in timeout. This guy Adam just keeps writing a bunch of fucking aggressive comments. I'm not showing them. Hey Perry, good to see you in here, Perry. So Lux, you guys know I talk about Lux all the time. As far as TA goes, Lux, I don't even have to say it. Like if you're looking TA wise, you saw that we had some support here, we broke it, we retested as resistance. The next support obviously was right around here. We tested it, so we might trade in this range for a little bit, but as soon as Lux breaks past 80,000 sats again, it's gonna have a pretty significant breakout, I think. And we're seeing a lot of alts that are like this, and that's why I'm saying in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think alts are gonna break out because most of them are bottomed out. They're a really strong support. They're not just going to rebound immediately, though. Like they need to consolidate and trade in a tight range for a little bit. And the longer they consolidate and trade in a tight range, the bigger the breakout will be. If we look back historically, this isn't the best example, but if we look back at like Blitz, the longer it consolidates, we saw Blitz consolidate here for what, like months? And then it just has this crazy breakout. It had a nice breakout, consolidation for a long time. Huge breakout. So the longer that coins consolidate, the bigger the breakout actually will be because there's more accumulation and there's a bigger period of people, just buying it. And they're the kind of buyers that aren't buying for a quick flip. They're buying because they know, long term it's really good value. Are you preparing for possible capitulation? Yeah, of course I'm preparing for the possible, major dump. I don't really think it's going to happen. I feel like as far as Bitcoin goes, we've really been through the worst part as far as like capitulation goes. I think that was, right here and right here. We saw like 50% decreases over a few days. I really don't think that we're going to have another huge shakeout. I think at this point we might drop to like 4,800 at the lowest, but then there'll be some consolidation. I really just don't think that we'll have some crazy capitulation. Why do people think Bitcoin will fall when so many companies are adopting blockchain? That's a really good question, PW. And most of the people that I talk to, I've been talking to a lot of businesses now, and they're all about blockchain, and they're not in yet. And so these people with a lot of money, everyone says, this big money is on the sidelines. blah, blah, blah. There's no proof, but I've been talking to a lot of people with big money, and honestly, they are waiting to get in. I don't know what they're waiting for, though. You know, they're traditional investors. They're not trying to get into anything while it's volatile. They're probably either waiting for it to bottom out or, you know, be at a price where it's too attractive. Why do they need Bitcoin? Because they want to make money. You know, they know that it's an emerging market, and there's a pretty high chance for significant gains. So this is something that no one's really talked about as far as videos go. Blockchain versus cryptocurrency. So blockchain definitely is the future. You see all these big companies, banks, Google, Microsoft, they're all getting tech patents for blockchain. Like they've gotten hundreds of patents in the last year for blockchain. And so the way I put it, you know, blockchain is going to be the future. There's going to be a lot of tech built around it. And cryptocurrency is just the first implementation of blockchain. It's like when we had the tech bubble. When we had the tech bubble, the internet was the technology behind it, but you can't invest in the internet. Like you can't invest in blockchain. The first use case of the internet was websites. And that's why we had the dot-com boom and the dot-com bubble, because people wanted to invest in the new technology. And that was the only way to do it. So what we're seeing right now is blockchain is this new emerging technology. The only way to invest in it is cryptocurrency. And so make or break, some of these cryptocurrencies are going to end up being, you know, multi-billion dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I'm not talking about Bitcoin. Like some of the cryptocurrencies aside from Bitcoin are going to be hundreds of billions of dollars. I have no doubt about that. It's just there's only going to be a few that really make it out of here. And we don't know if the bubble will be another year, another couple months, another 5, 10 years. I think it'll be a few years because just the adoption curve. Like we're not ready to adopt cryptocurrency. But so, you know, it's the same thing as the tech bubble. When you have an emerging technology, people want to invest in it. They don't care about the tech. They care about the money. And we see that with big businesses right now. They know blockchain's the future. They know cryptocurrency is the only way to invest in it. They don't care about the tech. They just want to get in at a good price, and they want to make money on it. Exactly. Blockchain and crypto are not needed to operate together. But if you want to invest in blockchain, the only way to do it right now is cryptocurrency. Have you heard about the Bitcoin cartel story on Medium? Financial elites control the Bitcoin price through the futures. I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracies about Bitcoin, obviously. You know, people say it was created by the government. People say a lot of crazy shit about Bitcoin. I'm sure there is some higher force controlling it. The elites definitely are controlling it. But you got to think about it this way: if the elites are controlling it, and we're just starting to see mainstream adoption, you know, they want the price to go a lot higher. There's just no reason for them to not drive the price higher. That's why I think it'd be very difficult to break this trend line. If we do break this trend line, like I said, I think we will go to 4,800. I don't really see us dropping below, you know, 46 to 4,800. I think it'd be very difficult to drop there, just from a psychological level. And like I said, the kind of money I know that wants to get in Bitcoin right now, I don't think that we would drop below this level if we break this support. Obviously, this isn't the greatest support. It's just a trend line I drew. But I haven't seen this yet. This it's almost horizontal. It's really slight curve. And so I think that we'll have a significant bounce here. Anyways, though, I'll get into the rest of the market because I've been saying, you know, alts are really interesting because Bitcoin's been extremely volatile and alts have not been dropping. And that just confirms in my mind that alts are at a point where, you know, smart money's picking them up. They're all in consolidation phases. They're really bottomed out at support. I think a few weeks at this support, we're going to see a really significant breakout. And, you know, the significant altcoin breakout would mean Bitcoin would have to trade sideways. I can definitely see Bitcoin trading sideways. You know, if this support line that I drew does hold up, then, you know, we would see a nice bounce, probably hit the top, you know, in a week or two, which would be about 8.8K. And then we would probably drop down to the bottom, drop up again, drop down, and then break out of it. And that all, like I said, coincides with, I just think that we're going to have a pretty significant altcoin rally in the middle to the end of April. And I think that Bitcoin will have a pretty significant rally maybe middle of May, start of June, which all coincides with this line that I drew. It's just a line, but, you know, every time it's touched so far, we've had pretty significant breakouts. I just Mike Green saying I think that they'll have a full retracement. I think it'd be really difficult to have a full retracement just from a fundamental, from an FA perspective. I think it'd be extremely difficult to have a full retracement considering what's been happening. Like there's just so much coverage of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And something no one really thinks about is if we go to CoinMarketCap and we look at the total market cap, we are what year to date we're about, let's go back, 25 billion to 250 billion. This guy Adam just keeps on writing shit. Put him in timeout again. So we are 10x from the market cap at the start of April last year, but no one thinks about there's like 1,000 more coins on the market. And if you look at these coins that have been added in the last year, like Cardano, this is in the last year, Oh My's Go, they have like $1 billion market cap. So it's not like the market cap's really 10x. There's just been so much more that's been put into the market. It's just a different way to look at it. The market cap doesn't increase to me because there's new coins being added. It's not like the price of coins is just they're going up crazy. If we look at these coins, I mean, Litecoin's a bad example, but if we look at something in the like 20 to 100 range, let's look at Dogecoin. This is always a good indicator of alts. Dogecoin has pretty much retraced to its market cap of May of last year. And if we look at that, we'll probably see some sideways consolidation and then another breakout. And so I'm looking at all these coins, and they've all pretty much retraced to like early April of May of last year. And it's just, it's that time where I think the market might cool down for a couple weeks. We might not see as much volatility. There's going to be an accumulation phase, and then after that, there's going to be significant breakouts. Please look at pull on CoinMarketCap. This is what every coin looks like. It went to highs and it retraced back to where it was trading for a long time, and that's why I re-entered the market, and I want to start to pick up more coins. 3-day boiling B bands widening. Let's look at the Bitcoin 3-day chart. Let's go to 3 days. Someone said in the comments the Bollinger Bands are widening. Let's see. I'm not sure what the guy in the comments is saying. If you're going by the bands, we're at the bottom of the bands. Like I said, we'd expect to see a move up and retest at least the middle or the top of the bands, which again goes back to what I was saying, 8.8K. The middle of the band is actually at 9K, so it all just comes together. Like Bitcoin's going to have a pretty significant bounce, in my opinion, in the next couple weeks, next couple days actually. So I'm only going to do a couple more minutes of live stream, but if you have any questions, I'll kind of just answer questions for the next few minutes. You mentioned bringing AI into blockchains. Have I heard of Neurochain? I haven't heard of Neurochain. The most recent AI I looked to was decentralized ML, and I also looked into Matrix AI. I think Matrix AI is a really good project, honestly. I'm not sure what it's trading at today. It had a pretty nice breakout, but it's just a little bit too long of a roadmap for me to personally invest in. Let's see, Matrix. For some reason, the chart on Matrix hasn't been loading, but it's up like 100% in the last couple days. Coming out to LA anytime soon. I'll actually be in LA tomorrow. I'm going to LA tomorrow for some meetings. Thoughts on Cash and Liquid platform? I honestly haven't looked into Cash yet. I know my boy Korean Jew is super bullish on Cash, and I trust the guy's research. I'm gonna look into it one day. I've just been really busy. But so Cash probably is a good pickup, honestly. Thoughts on ZIL and its testnet? I do hold some ZIL. I think ZIL is going to have a pretty significant breakout soon. It's pretty close to retesting all-time highs, I think, versus Bitcoin at least. Yeah, see, ZIL is, let's go to the 1 day. Oh, that actually looks kind of bad. This candle, I don't like it. I don't usually use Bollinger Bands, but so ZIL, I really don't like this candle, but from an FA perspective and the sentiment on it, I do think that It's going to keep breaking out. This isn't the best trend line, but you know, we can see that Zill is in a really strong bearish trend. This is like something we saw with ICX when it got listed. I guess you could say it's a rising wedge. I don't really do TA much. I trade on FA, but I guess you could say this is like a rising wedge. And then that would put it about 50% higher before it broke down. Any ICOs I'm looking at? Well, I'm advising Real Fever. I think that's a great project. The ICOs I'm looking at right now are mostly companies that have already been established and they're going to blockchain now. You know, companies that have been around for 5 to 10 years. They have a lot of users. Their platform has been successful. Those are the ICOs I'm looking at. I don't think that white paper ICOs are going to be very successful anymore. What do I think about T-Food? I haven't looked into T-Food yet. Fusion compared to Wanchain. I haven't read the Wanchain white paper, so I actually can't talk about Wanchain. I only talk about coins that I really have done my research and know a lot about. I don't want to talk about something that I don't have a full comprehension of. Your opinion on Encash? I think Encash is one of my biggest bags right now. I'll put it that way. I think almost 8 or 9% of my portfolio is in Encash. I think that Encash will have a pretty significant breakout whenever alt season starts. You know, maybe we might see this retrace to 360, but I do see Encash going to like the 700, 800 sats range. Have I done research on Nano? I have done some research on Nano. I don't like it. The way that the network works, it would be really easy to congest it. Basically, you know, Nano, it has essentially 0 transaction fees. I don't like Nano. I don't like Nano. I'm not going to talk about it that much, but there's a really good article that I shared on my Twitter one time, and it basically said, you know, how you could essentially congest the Nano network, which was obviously called something else before. But it would be really easy to screw up the whole network. It's a really good concept, but realistically it wouldn't work. As far as Neo goes, I'm not a big Neo guy. I've never been a big fan of Neo. As a trader, I think Neo is a good pickup right now. You know, this is a pretty nice area to be buying Neo. I'm gonna buy some Neo. I don't really, as far as a long-term investment, like Neo's not one of my favorites, but as a trader, you know, this is a good trade. Neo's almost back in the buy range. I know it's versus USD, but versus Bitcoin, it's pretty much the same chart. If you look Neo versus Bitcoin, this is going to be some really solid support here. And so, you know, as a trader, I don't like Neo. As a trader, I have to pick up Neo, but I don't like Neo. Are there any dApps on ETC? So I talked about ETC the other day. A really interesting point. I might buy some ETC or start mining it if I'm going to get some mining rigs. But basically, what's going to happen with ETC is Ethereum's going to go to proof of stake. And when Ethereum goes to proof of stake, whenever it's 6 months, 12 months, I don't know how long out it is, what do you think all those miners are going to do? The easiest thing for them to do would be go to another Ethash coin. And, you know, if you're already mining Ethereum, then why wouldn't you go and just start mining ETC? And so I think if all the miners from Ethereum, when it moves to proof of stake, switch to ETC, you could see a really significant breakout on it. That's the first coin I think will get added to Coinbase. To be honest, I think ETC will be the first coin to get added to Coinbase. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I think ETC, OhMySgo, and one other one that I'll talk about soon. But basically, Coinbase can't add any coins that don't have some pretty extreme volume and you know, a really big market cap. And that's why I don't think ZRX will get added. At least not one of the first ones. Am I still in QLC? I sold half my QLC position. Thoughts on Dragon? Dragon just released some huge news, and they released news, and you know the price went down. It was kind of crazy, but so they said that their commercial platform is gonna launch on April 5th, and that's some really big news. If they're gonna release some of their code and launch their own blockchain, you know it's extremely undervalued at this point. That means that it can get added to Bittrex because it won't be a security anymore. It will be a utility token. I'm originally from Michigan, so Michigan versus Villanova. I'm a Michigan guy. Do I like Polymath? I do like Polymath. I don't know what's going on with the price action. I'm pretty surprised, honestly, that it's just free falling. I do hold some Polymath. I honestly bought my polymath like at 9,000 sats and 6,000 sats, so my bag's pretty down. But I know the potential of poly, and so it doesn't bother me. Tomo will take over ERC20. No, it won't. EOS will. Kyber network mainnet launch. Nothing happened. I don't think the mainnet launch. I believe the beta launched, and I've been talking about Kyber for the last few days. I think that's my second or third largest position behind Ncash and Lux. OCN. I'm still very bullish on OCN. I think it's going to get added to a pretty big exchange soon. There's like no doubt in my mind that it will get added to a big exchange soon. If we look right now, this is I'm probably going to buy more today, to be honest. This is pretty shitty, but essentially this is what I see. There's good support here, obviously. We can see that there's been a lot of interaction at this level, bounce right off it. There's no doubt in my mind that OCN will go up more. And I'll probably be holding OCN. I probably start selling my position around. Probably sell some of it at 250 sats, 260 sats. List, bro. I know you're reading this. I read every comment, every single thing people tweet at me. I read all of it. It's just I don't respond to a lot of it. Gat Shillington III. How is Daddy looking? Daddy, whatever you want to call it. I do have a little bit of Daddy. We've seen some pretty significant volume. This is a coin that I think will have a pretty good breakout once alt season starts. SBTC. What is SBTC? I see SBTC in the comments. I don't know what SBTC is. I'll look into it. Probably won't look into it. I have too many coins that I need to look into already. WePower versus Power Ledger. I think WePower just because there's more potential. If we look at their market caps, they're basically doing the same thing. WePower, 35 million. Power Ledger, 96 million. You invest in WePower, you have 2.5x that you can do. SBTC shilled as Chinese BTC. Wow. Yeah, I doubt it. Look into the FA of Pull when you get the chance. I've looked into Pull. I've talked about Pull before. I'm not sure why it's trading at this price. I think there's a lot of worth in the technology, but there's other things that are going to be competing with it. Daddy Masternode, 10K tokens. I'll probably get a Daddy Masternode. Thoughts on Key. So I talked about Key, and I released some research on it. I think Key is one of those moon bags. I really do think that it's one of the best picks out there for KuCoin, personally. I do have a bag of Key, full disclosure, obviously. But so Key from the white paper, they have a lot of stuff coming out. It was supposed to come out end of Q1. It's end of Q1 right now, so I'm expecting to see some updates there soon. They have like a 100-person team, and it's one of the biggest teams I've seen in crypto. And I'm really bullish on this project. I'll do 2 more questions. I'm going to wait for 2 more good questions, and then I'm going to head off. Check out BCPTF. BCPT. Block Mason's decent. This is the mark, yeah, but should be at. So, this won't be a pickup for me. KuCoin shares. KuCoin shares will be a good pickup. I do expect KuCoin to have the highest profits when there's the next altcoin season. There's a lot of coins only listed on KuCoin that suffered from liquidity issues, and they're trading way below market value. Do you have a plan in mind if Bitcoin breaks down from the support level and free falls? I'll just be holding. I'll probably just be a little bit quiet for a couple of weeks, but I don't think that it's going to break. If it breaks the support here, I think it will drop to about 4,800, 5,000 area. Can you explain why you're more bullish on EOS than Tomo? It's pretty obvious. Look at the EOS team versus the Tomo team. Tomo does have the NEM founder on it, but as far as teams go, the EOS team has been very proven. That shit's been in development forever. What do I think about IDEX and the IDEX membership? I don't really know about the IDEX membership, but I do like IDEX. I think that some of the top performing coins will be. Wow, that was stupid of me. I went to look for the list chart and I typed in IDEX. I think some of the top performing coins will be the ICOs that are really undersold right now on IDEX. List chart. Someone's asked me a few times, so I'll hit it. You know, this is a decent area. In my opinion, it's almost in the buy range. Fundamentally, I don't know anything about Lisk, and I'm not a buyer off TA. I don't really. I don't trade based off TA. Anyways, though, I'm gonna hop off, guys. If you're watching, you know, hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the stream. It just helps more people see it. And I will be back on Tuesday. All right, see you guys.